Greetings and welcome to PJ's Kitchen. My name is Peter James from the website peterjamesx.com, and I'm bringing you the Babylon Report. Tonight we are having a look at evolutionists, atheists and fools. Can you see any difference between these three groups? Well, I'd like to read you something that was sent to me a few days ago about something that happened in a Florida court. In Florida, an atheist created a case against the upcoming Easter and Passover holy days. He hired an attorney to bring a discrimination case against Christians, Jews, and observance of their holy days. The argument was it was unfair that atheists had no such recognized days. The case was brought before a judge. After listening to the passionate presentation by the lawyer, the judge banged his gavel, declaring case dismissed. The lawyer immediately stood objecting to the ruling, saying, "Your Honor, how could you possibly dismiss this case? The Christians have Christmas, Easter and others. The Jews have Passover, Yom Kippur and Hanukkah, yet my client and all other atheists have no such holidays." The judge leaned forward in his chair saying, "But you do. Your client, counsel, is woefully ignorant." The lawyer said, "Your Honor, we are unaware of any special observance or holiday for atheists." The judge said, "The calendar says April the 1st is April Fool's Day. Psalm 14:1 states, 'The fool says in his heart, there is no God.' Thus, it is in the opinion of this court that if your client says there is no God, then he is a fool. Therefore, April the 1st is his day. Court adjourned." How about that? How about that? That quoted Psalm 14 and verse 1. Psalm 53 verse 1 says exactly the same thing. You know, we are this year, as I said in the previous video, the anniversary of Charles Darwin and his Origin of Species. And tomorrow, Sunday, the 1st of February, it should have been the 1st of April, he is putting out a program on television disproving Genesis, supposedly. He is also rated as the most trusted celebrity or person in Britain. So people regard him exceedingly highly. And that's what the Reader's Digest recent poll said. However, we are going to show you this evening the reality of the situation. In Romans 1:22 it says, "Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools." Straightforward talking. I have many quotes here from the Old Testament, but so many people don't like me going to the Old Testament, I thought we'd start with the New. Now, I'd like to introduce you to my little friend, Goldie. See Goldie there in my hand? That is a little gold crest. If you want a copy of that, you go and download my calendar for this year. It'll be up there for the next 12 months. January, that's the picture for January. That's a gold crest. It's a female because the male has a red streak down the middle there. That's a totally wild bird, totally wild, but it's in my hand. Now, I've told many people about the incident, so they know what happened, but I'll tell you. Now, before I go any further, this bird, wild though it is, understands English. I'm serious. It actually understands English. Well, I was sitting at my computer. I live in my bedroom, my computer and everything. The center of my universe is my bedroom. And I was sitting at the computer and I heard this very slight thud, very, very slight, on the window. And I thought, that sounds like a bird has hit, but it was so light. But I'll have a look anyway. So I went to the window, opened it, I'm on the first floor, and there was this little bird on the golden ivy, like that, as if dead. And I took it up, and put it in my hand, and she was like that. And I started stroking her head, and said, little bird, you're going to live. You are going to live. And I was doing this for a couple of minutes. Then it decided, no, I'm not going to live. I'm going to die. And it whooped over its head. And so we had a confrontation because I'm telling her, sorry, you're going to live. And so I continued stroking her and telling her she was going to live. Her eyes were all black because of the blue on her head. She only weighs 5 or 6 grams. That's all they weigh. So you can't even feel it in the palm of your hand. But she started to perk up and came around. I stretched around and got my camera. So she's in my left hand, I got the camera in my right hand, and I took about 8 or 9 shots of her from when she had a black eye and as she got better and better. And she just stayed there and she just watched me, just as you see her looking at me there, just as you see her looking at me there. See her there? Then, when I figured, I had 2 friends staying with me at the time, and I called them and showed them. They were amazed. I then said to her, I stopped stroking and I said to her, you look perfectly well to me now. I think you're okay. I think you can go. And she just looked at me and flew out of my hand instantly, at a great speed. I didn't throw it. It knew what I said and did it. Now, how do you account for that, evolutionists? How do you account for that? Which language school did the bird go to? You see, when people speak foolishness, it just really annoys me. I cannot abide fools. I really, really cannot. You see, in Genesis 1, I'm going to be going all over the place today. In Genesis 1, I'll tell you what it says in a second. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So there was a period of time called the beginning, when matter did not exist. Time did not exist. A vacuum did not exist. The universe, you see, did not exist.